Fans thought Larson Farms was stepping into its biggest chapter yet, but almost overnight, the excitement turned into concern. Breakdowns started stacking up, repairs looked expensive, and every new upload felt less like progress and more like damage control. Viewers weren't just watching tractors in the field anymore, they were watching pressure build in real time. So what actually happened at the new farm? Was this just normal growing pains? Or was something bigger going wrong behind the scenes? Before the rumors spiral any further, let's break down what fans saw, what raised eyebrows, and what the truth really looks like. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Larson Farms had been building momentum for years, sharing the highs and lows of real farm life with an audience that trusted them. So when talk of the new farm started showing up in their content, most viewers saw it as a power move, the kind of expansion that signals confidence, growth, and a strong future. Bigger land usually means bigger opportunity, but it also means bigger risk, and fans began to notice the tone shifting faster than expected. Instead of smooth upgrades and easy wins, early glimpses of the new operation hinted that this transition might not be as seamless as it looked from the outside. The farm itself came with challenges, something the family openly acknowledged in their videos. When creators are that transparent, viewers pay attention. And that's exactly when the comment section started changing. People weren't just cheering them on anymore, they were asking questions. Some longtime followers pointed out that new properties rarely come problem-free. Different soil conditions, unfamiliar layouts, aging infrastructure, and equipment logistics can all create unexpected slowdowns. None of this is unusual in agriculture, but when you're watching it unfold episode by episode, it can feel like warning signs stacking up. Still, this wasn't panic territory yet, more like cautious curiosity. Fans leaned in closer, wondering whether these were just normal adjustment pains or the first hints that the expansion might be tougher than anyone predicted. And just as viewers were starting to process that possibility, the situation became harder to ignore. The real turning point came when Larson Farms stopped hinting at challenges and practically spelled them out. In one of their updates, they made it clear that the new farm had more issues than expected. Not speculation, not fan theory, but their own words. For viewers who had been sensing that something felt off, this was the moment their concerns started to feel justified. Because when experienced farmers openly admit a property has lots of problems, people know that usually means long days, unexpected costs, and pressure that doesn't let up. What made this stand out wasn't the existence of problems. Every farm deals with them. It was how quickly they seemed to surface. Instead of a gradual learning curve, it looked more like one obstacle after another. From operational inefficiencies to things that simply weren't ready for the workload, the adjustment period appeared steeper than many expected. And when setbacks pile up early in an expansion, it naturally raises the stakes. Viewers who understand agriculture know a tough start can ripple through an entire season. Lost time is something farmers never get back, and timing is everything when crops are involved. That reality added weight to every update the audience watched. Still, Larson Farms didn't try to sugarcoat it. They showed the grind, the problem solving, and the determination to make the new place work. But transparency has a side effect. Once people see the cracks, they start watching even closer. And soon, another concern began creeping into the conversation: the growing question of maintenance. If there's one detail that quietly raised the tension, it was the growing conversation around maintenance. At one point, Larson Farms openly mentioned that some upkeep had been overlooked. Not in a dramatic, end-of-the-world way, but enough to catch the attention of viewers who know how fast small mechanical issues can snowball. Because on a working farm, maintenance isn't optional, it's survival. What makes this especially tricky during an expansion is the sheer number of moving parts. New land means new routes, different storage setups, more equipment hours, and tighter schedules. When everything ramps up at once, even well-run operations can find themselves playing catch-up. And the audience understood that immediately. Experienced followers began pointing out something farmers have known forever. Preventive work is always cheaper than emergency repairs. Suddenly, routine fixes didn't feel so routine anymore. Every unexpected delay carries a hidden cost. Not just money, but momentum. When a machine sits idle, the clock doesn't pause, and neither does the season. That's why even minor mechanical setbacks can create a ripple effect across planting, spraying, or harvest timelines. But what stood out most was that Larson Farms didn't hide it. They showed the reality of juggling priorities while trying to keep everything running. That honesty built trust, yet it also made the situation feel more real to viewers watching from home. Still, while maintenance concerns constrain any operation, fans hadn't reached peak worry just yet, because soon the conversation shifted from inconvenience to the possibility of seriously expensive repairs. Then came the moment that really made viewers sit up straight, the kind of update that instantly changes the mood from just another setback to "this could hurt." During one repair situation, the damage was framed in a way that suggested it might carry a massive price tag, with talk leaning toward what looked like a repair in the tens of thousands range. For anyone familiar with large-scale farming equipment, that number isn't just uncomfortable. It's the type that forces tough decisions fast. Agricultural machines aren't like everyday vehicles. When something major fails, you're not simply paying for parts. You're paying for specialized labor, lost time, and sometimes even rental equipment to avoid falling behind. And timing makes everything more intense. If a critical machine goes down during a narrow working window, the pressure skyrockets. Viewers could almost feel that weight through the screen. Comments started reflecting a shared thought. Big. Expansion plus big repairs equals big financial strain. Not that Larson Farms ever suggested they were in trouble. But when audiences see costly-looking fixes appear during a growth phase, their minds naturally start connecting dots. What's important here is perspective. Expensive repairs are not unusual in modern farming. They're often considered part of the risk that comes with operating high-performance machinery. Still, seeing it happen in real time made the challenges of scaling up feel more tangible than ever. And just when fans were absorbing the possibility of major expenses, another moment surfaced that made the situation feel less like bad luck, and more like a streak no farmer wants. Just when it seemed like the costly repair talk had everyone on edge, another moment surfaced that perfectly captured how unpredictable farm life can be. During a routine situation, a steering wheel suddenly failed, the kind of mechanical surprise that no operator wants to experience in the middle of a workday. It wasn't framed as some catastrophic event, but it didn't need to be. Anyone who has spent time around heavy equipment knows that even a single unexpected failure can throw off an entire schedule. What made this moment stick wasn't just the malfunction itself, it was what it represented. By this point, viewers had already seen the adjustment struggles, heard about maintenance concerns, and watched repair conversations unfold. So when something else went wrong, it created the impression of problems stacking closer together than anyone would like. Even loyal fans started thinking, is this just a rough stretch? Or is the expansion testing them more than expected? But here's the reality that seasoned farmers understand. Machinery operates under extreme stress. Long hours, dust, vibration, weather swings, every component is pushed hard. Failures don't always signal deeper trouble. Sometimes they're simply the cost of doing demanding work at scale. Still, perception matters. When audiences watch these moments back to back, it can feel like a pattern forming. And once that idea takes hold, the internet tends to amplify it quickly. Before long, viewers weren't just reacting to breakdowns, they were building theories about what might be happening behind the scenes, whether those theories were grounded or not. By now, the audience had seen enough challenging moments that the conversation started taking on a life of its own. It wasn't just about repairs or equipment anymore, it was about interpretation. When viewers watch a story unfold piece by piece, they naturally try to predict where it's heading. And online, predictions can quickly morph into speculation. Some fans began wondering if the expansion was stretching resources thinner than expected. Others questioned whether the early wave of problems was simply the reality of taking on a property with hidden complications. None of these ideas were confirmed, just people reading between the lines of what was publicly shared. But that's how the rumor cycle often begins, not with facts, but with patterns people think they see. Social platforms tend to magnify that effect. One concerned comment leads to another, and before long the narrative shifts from "tough start" to "something bigger must be happening." It's not driven by bad intentions. More often, it reflects how invested viewers have become. When people root for a family-run operation, they feel the stress right alongside them. Here's the key point though. There has been no verified reporting suggesting any hidden collapse or major expansion failure. What viewers are witnessing is something far more common: the pressure that comes with growth, risk, and the unpredictable nature of agriculture. Still, once speculation enters the picture, it changes how every new update is perceived. And that raised an even bigger question. Were fans overreacting, or simply responding to the very real challenges being shown? After weeks of viewers analyzing every setback, a clearer picture finally started to emerge, and it looked far less dramatic than the internet had begun to suggest. What many were interpreting as warning signs was, in reality, something deeply familiar within agriculture: the messy, unpredictable phase that often comes with expansion. Taking on more land, more responsibility, and more moving parts almost guarantees a period where things won't run perfectly. Growth in farming rarely happens without friction. New ground behaves differently. Equipment gets pushed harder. Logistics become more complex overnight. Even experienced operators can't anticipate every variable because farming has one constant rule: something unexpected will eventually happen. When you layer that reality on top of publicly sharing the journey, every bump becomes visible in a way most farms never experience. And that visibility changes perception. Instead of hearing about problems months later, audiences watch them unfold in real time. A breakdown isn't just a private headache, it becomes a shared moment. But transparency can be misleading in one important way. Seeing multiple challenges close together can make them feel connected, even when they're simply normal operational hurdles. What actually stands out is resilience. Rather than backing away from the difficulties, Larson Farms continued showing the process, diagnosing issues, making repairs, adjusting plans, and moving forward. That's not the behavior of an operation spiraling. It's what adaptation looks like under pressure. In the end, the worry says less about disaster and more about how rare it is to witness real growth without a filter. But one question still lingers. Why did these moments feel so intense to the people watching from home? So what actually happened at Larson Farms? When you strip away the noise, the answer is surprisingly straightforward. Fans weren't reacting to some hidden collapse. They were responding to something far more real: the pressure, risk, and unpredictability that come with growing a major farming operation in full public view. Expansion almost always looks exciting from the outside, but behind the scenes, it demands constant problem solving, fast decisions, and the resilience to handle setbacks without losing momentum. What made this situation feel bigger than it was comes down to visibility. Most farms face challenges quietly, but Larson Farms chose to show the process, the good days and the frustrating ones. And when viewers see multiple obstacles unfold close together, it naturally raises concern. But if anything has been revealed through all of this, it's persistence. Instead of slowing down, they kept adapting and pushing forward. Maybe the real takeaway isn't about things going wrong. It's about what it truly takes to build something bigger,